Welcome to the 2024 FUMCAH Stations of the Cross, representing over 19 artists and church members ages 11 to 96 years old, and narrated by Mary Ann LaForest. Station 1. Although charges against him are unspecified, the Roman procurator Pilate orders Jesus beaten with barbed whips. Pilate pronounces the sentence of crucifixion. In this anonymous quilted piece, Jesus prayed the cup of suffering might be lifted from him, while still offering himself as a sacrifice. While viewing the exhibit, give thanks, pray for good to triumph over evil, and for peace in the world. The humiliating weight of indignity and injustice are placed on Jesus' shoulders, along with the instrument of Roman torture. In Alice Anderson's I Always Wake Up So Scared acrylic and collage piece, she conveys the tragic truth of humanity continuing to heap hatred, violence, and death on Jesus' shoulders. Her title refers to Israel, Palestine, and Ukraine, and all cities where children suffer violence. Church lore imagines that the cross would be more than anyone could bear without crumbling under its weight. This, the first of 3 such incidents, highlights Jesus' humanity. Alice Jenks' needle turn applique uses fabric to emulate the cross, Christ's purity, and gold for his eternalness. Jesus' mother is present at the crucifixion, fulfilling the prediction of Simeon at the time of her son's dedication that a sword will pierce her side. Julie Wood's mixed media features the close embrace of mother and son, even though the two were likely not permitted to embrace. The agonizing desire must be present as any mother watches her child suffer. An unsuspecting onlooker is snatched out of the crowd and forced to bear the weight of Jesus' cross. Stephanie Sutton chose muted colors in her acrylic painting to emphasize the seriousness of the moment. Simon is pulled from the crowd. Station 6. Veronica reached out from the crowd with a cloth, perhaps a veil, to wipe the face of the condemned man. When she pulled the cloth away, the image of his face remained. Showing compassion to Jesus may have been unpopular at the time of his passion, even dangerous, yet Veronica stepped out to comfort him. This may have been the only act of personal charity on Jesus' way to the cross. Where do you need to show up to step out for Jesus today? Lynn Michaels, in her mixed media piece, was intrigued by this station as it does not have a biblical foundation. This interactive piece invites the viewer to be part of the piece and discover what's compelling. Jesus still carries the weight of the world on his back. His body has been tormented. His spirit cries out for relief. The road is long and hard. The watercolor and acrylic piece by Ellie Williams reflects the dark sky and the light on Jesus, even as he falls. Station 8. Jesus turned to the women and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, don't cry for me. Rather cry for yourselves and your children." Angelique and Jeanette Sebbing's mixed media piece features a bejeweled tissue box representing the ideas of Jesus comforting the women of Jerusalem. In Chris Rice's sound sculpture, they note, "Our tears are not always our own." Station 9. That he falls at all is logical speculation. 3 times seems appropriate for a forced walk of nearly a mile. Lisa Kelsey's paper collage was inspired by the techniques of Joseph Spabrooks. Station 10. Taking away the last shred of his external humanity, Jesus is further shamed by the removal of his clothing. Tom Firk's mixed media features examples of clothing, whether worn by choice or not, one another way to persecute groups. The cloths from left to right represent slave clothing, prison jumpsuits, for the laws unfairly targeting minorities, the imprisoned Jews during the Holocaust, just one of the 30 targeted groups, and the hijab and burqas worn by force or choice by Muslim women who, by wearing, are often targets of violence. As Station 11, as if he hasn't suffered enough, steel spikes driven through his hands, possibly his feet as well, seems an unbearable form of punishment. The Colored Pencil by Vivian Sutton depicts the storminess and violence that was happening. Station 12. Prior to taking his last breath, Jesus forgives his tormentors, prays for his mother and his friends, and invites a convicted thief to join him in paradise. Amelia Sutton, in her mixed media piece, remarks, "I focused on the anger God might be feeling when Jesus died." Station 13. To make certain he is dead, a soldier pierces Jesus' side with a sword. Another Roman officer, a centurion, says, "Truly, this was the Son of God." Dan Buntley's mixed media piece features woodworking and live succulents in a wooden cross which foreshadow Christ's resurrection. In another Station 13, Bill Kempfe's stained glass features the sun setting on Mount Calvary on Good Friday. The majority of the stained glass came from past FUMCAH windows and partitions. Station 14. Joseph and another member of the council, Nicodemus, lay the body in a tomb that Joseph owns. They wrap him in spices, completing their task just as the sun is setting to signal the start of the Sabbath. Laura Jerby's mixed media piece uses a variety of paper techniques to simulate rock and stone, including a blending brush with ink to create cracks and crevices. These hand-carved crosses by Rick Lane come in a variety of different woods: ebony, olive, tulip, oak, chestnut, and more. You are invited to take one. Now that Jesus has carried the cross for us, we invite you to carry a cross for him.